to Feel Good Stretch my name is Carrie Livingston, and let's get going. The only equipment that you will need will be a chair and possibly a towel. You can do the exercises without if you prefer, but if you need them for balance for some of our standing exercises, please feel free. All right, to start, stand with your feet about shoulder width apart. Let's take a big inhale, inhaling, stretch to the ceiling, big stretch up, and exhale. Again, we'll do this 3 times. Inhale, reach up, stretch as high as you can, and release. One more. Inhale, reaching up, and release. Widen out your feet a little wider now. They should be just past the shoulders. One arm on the leg, the other one straight up towards the ceiling. We'll get the midsection and bend down. Keep that other hand pointing up at the ceiling for now. And bring it back up. Again, try to go a little bit lower if you can. Try not to lean forward. Bring it back up. You should be feeling the stretch right along your side. Again. Go a little lower if you can. Hold it there. And now bring the arm across. Feel the stretch increase. Going down the side of your body. Hold it there for approximately 15-20 seconds. And back up. Other side. If your shoulder gets tired, you can bring the arm down. Slide it down. Try to go as low towards your knee as you're able. Back up to level. As you bend, try to avoid pushing that hip out, so we're not pushing it out. Keep it down. Back up. One more time. Holding it there. And bring the arm over. Release. And bring it up. Keep your feet nice and wide. In fact, if you need to, you can widen them out a little bit longer. We're going to get the inner thigh. Lunge to the side, keeping the weight on the bent leg. Being very careful not to hyperextend the other, and feel the stretch. Inner thigh. Holding it for about 15-20 seconds. Release the stretch at any time if you start feeling too much tightness, too much pain. Bring it up, other side. Feet should be facing forward, feeling that stretch going down the whole inner thigh. Bring it back up. Keeping your feet apart. Hands can go on the hips. You're going to take a forward bend, feeling a stretch going up the hamstrings. Now try to keep your back flat as you go, so try not to round it. How far down you go is going to depend entirely on how tight your hamstrings and glutes are. But again, only go for as far as you can keep your back straight. But feeling the stretch going right up the backs of the legs. Watch that the knees are not locked. So we want the legs straight we want to keep the knees just a tiny bit soft. And bring it back up. Shake it out a little bit. Get into a lunge position, one leg forward, one leg behind, keeping your body upright, so you should not lean. You're going to push forward from the hip, feeling the stretch, hip flexors of the rear leg. If you need, you can let your heel come off the floor. If you can, just try to keep it down a little bit more. Watch that you're not arching your back, so keep the abdominals engaged. Try to tuck your tail under so that you don't exaggerate that arch in your back. Again, feeling the stretch here in front. All right, bring it up. Other side, you can just turn around in place, switching legs. So again, front leg bent, push forward from the hip, getting the hip flexor on the rear leg. If you need to for balance, grab your chair and use that to keep you steady. Try to breathe slowly into the nose, out to the mouth. Think about the muscle lengthening, stretching. And again, watching that you are not arching that back. So keep everything pulled in, nice and tight. And bring it back up. Bring the arms in front. We're going to stretch some upper body before we do any more lower body. Arms are going to go in front. You're going to pull forward, round the back, the upper back, drop the head, and try to get the stretch right between your shoulder blades. We'll be holding this for about 20 to 30 seconds. Release it sooner if you need. Shake it out. Take the hands, clasp them behind the back, roll the shoulders down and back, and then stand tall. Stretching the chest and the shoulders, straighten the arms, and then lift behind you. As you lift, try to avoid bending forward or pushing your neck forward. Keep yourself nice and tall, but you should feel the stretch right across the chest, shoulders. Again, this one can be uncomfortable to the wrists and the shoulders, so release it at any point that you need. And release, shake it out. Take one arm straight across and reach over. Almost like you're trying to touch yourself behind the shoulder. Other arm just above the elbow. Gentle press to the side. Stretch for the deltoids, the shoulder muscles. Trying to relax your body as best you are able. Thinking about your breathing. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Release. Same arm goes up and down like you're trying to pat yourself on the back, just behind the head. Here, I'm going to grab the elbow either from up or you can push, whichever you prefer. Just try not to push that neck forward. Stretch for the triceps and the back of the arm. Lower body, knees should be soft. We never want to lock those joints. And release. Other side. Arm comes up to level. Reach across. Gentle pressure. If you feel any pain, release the stretch, or if you need to shake the arm out first. never forcing stretches. Pressing gently, just point of feeling that stretch. But if you're feeling any sharp pains, please release it. And release. Up, right behind the back, either pushing from the front, or bring the arm up and pull, stretching the back of the arm. We have one more for the legs before we go down to the floor. So if you need to, grab your chair for balance. You can do this, well, actually a couple more. You can do this without the chair if you're able to balance. But if you need it, it's there. So one hand on the chair, grab the ankle, stretching the quads, and the leg comes back. It is less about pulling the foot to the rear as it is moving that leg back from the hip, feeling the stretch going down the top of the thigh. Here again, you can use your towel for some extra range of motion if you can't quite grab that foot. Once again, since we're doing this from a stand, you'll have to watch that you're not arching the back. So keep your abdominals engaged, try to tuck your tail under, focus the stretch to the quad. And release it. Other side. With or without your towel, same thing. Grab the legs, stand tall, shoulders back. You'll probably notice that you are tighter on one side of your body than you are the other. Very common, almost to be expected. Try to focus your efforts to your tighter side as best you're able. And release, shake it out. So the figure 4 stretch for the piriformis and the glutes. This one can be done again without the chair. You can have one hand on the chair, you can face the chair. What you're going to do though is cross one leg over the other and then sink down, feeling the stretch in the glute of the crossed leg. Face the chair if you need to, or if you're able, you can go hands-free.
You think I'm ready? You are the only one who can save the world. Cut it down. Disney's Artemis Fowl now streaming exclusively on Disney+. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
And bring it up. Other side, same thing. Crossing the other leg, sinking down, feeling the stretch in the glute. We will be repeating this one on the ground, so if doing it from a stand is too much for you, take a little bit of a rest for this point. And release. Shake it out. Now you can place your chair over to the side. We're going to come to a sit. Actually, let me make sure that I have so we can be seen. So sit on the floor. One leg pulled in, other leg crossed over it. Inside leg, you're going to turn your torso until your sternum is pointing right over that left knee, or excuse me, just over that inside knee, and then press your chest to the leg. Trying to get your ribs as close to your thigh as you can. You should feel the stretch in the opposite hip. Try not to round the back, try to hinge forward from the hip. And the other cheek should stay on the floor. If you're unable to sit cross-legged, you can leave that other leg straight or slightly bent. You just won't feel the stretch as much. Bring it up. Crisscross them the other way. Turning now toward the other leg, which should be on the inside. Press the ribs to the thigh. Again, feeling a stretch in the hip. You may also feel it on the side of your low back, especially if you tend to be tight there. Keep the cheek on the floor. Try not to let your hip lift. And again, it's not about rounding the back. It's about trying to get your ribs as close to your leg as you're able. Draw it up. Extend one leg out. If you can, keep this one in. This stretch, modified runner stretch, stretching hamstrings and stretching the QL, the muscle in the back. So that foot, you're going to reach toward it with the opposite hand. So getting some twist across. Don't worry if you can't actually reach the foot. Reach for the outside of the leg and then pull yourself as low as you are able to go. If you have the flexibility, go ahead and grab your foot and pull yourself down as low as you can. If you have less flexibility, just focus on reaching for the outside of the leg. You should definitely feel it low back. You'll very likely feel it beneath the leg as well. If you're feeling too much in the calf, point the toe and that'll release it. Something else to watch for, the shoulder creeping up, so try to keep those shoulders dropped back. And bring it up. Other side. Same thing, reach for that foot or towards that foot with the opposite hand. If you have the flexibility, and grab with the other hand and pull yourself down. Try to relax your body, inhaling through the nose, exhaling out the mouth. Back up, extend both legs in front of you. What we're going to be doing is getting first a stretch for the chest and the rib cage, and then we'll stretch the backs of the legs. So hands are going to come just behind your hips, fingers pointing out to the side, and then push your chest up to the ceiling. Your head will tilt gently back, but keep your chin tucked slightly towards your chest. We don't want to throw the head back. And expand your ribs if you're able. You should feel the stretch through the chest and right along the ribs. And release. Hamstrings. So there's two ways to do this, and the way you choose depends entirely upon what your range of motion is. If you know you have really tight hamstrings, keep your hands behind you and then push from behind, leaning forward as best you can until you feel the best stretch in the back of the leg. If you have more flexibility, you can hinge from the hip, but try not to round just yet. Try to keep that back straight. This is another time that you can use your towel. Looping it around the feet and then pulling forward. Again, try not to round the body. Try to get your lowest ribs as close to your thighs, the tops of your thighs, as you're able. Keep the shoulders back. You will likely also feel this in the calves. Release if you need to before the time elapses, but try to hold with constant pressure and release. With each stretch we do, after about 10 seconds, try to increase the pressure just a little bit. You should find that you get a better stretch. Now you can still use the towel if you need to, but we're going to combine now the back of the legs with the lower back. So here, just walk your way down your legs as far as you can go. Let your back round. Forehead comes down. If you want to feel less in the calves, point the toes, but keep those legs straight. And try to relax into it. You should feel it down here, right in the middle of the back and the backs of the legs. Again, coming low as you are personally able to do. If you have to bend the knees, I'll try to keep them straight, but if you have to bend them a little bit just to get any stretch going on, that is okay. And we'll try to stay in this position for about 30 seconds. Again, release it if you need. And then walk it slowly back up. So now cross those legs again. We'll get one forward for glutes, and we'll do a few supine and prone exercises. And just drape yourself forward. Try to go completely limp, seeing how low to the floor you can get your elbows. Feeling it in both the hips and the low back. This is a complete passive stretch, so you shouldn't feel like you're forcing anything. Just let gravity do the work here. Forehead down, keeping your hips down on the floor. And walk it back up. Moving into the pigeon stretch. So here, start in hands and knees. Pull one foot forward, tucking that foot behind you, extend the other leg behind. And then go as low as you can, feeling it in the hip. Support yourself on your arms as much as you need to. But otherwise, just try to relax into it. Put your hands underneath your shoulders and see if you can push yourself upright. You'll feel a little bit in the low back. If you don't have the flexibility there, be careful how high you come. Drop the shoulders. Try to open your chest and get your center as high as you can here. And release. Back to hands and knees. Other side. Pull the leg forward, extend, and come down as low as you feel comfortable. Relaxing into it, get those hands back by the shoulders. Push up, thinking about getting your heart as high forward as you can, so it's less about stretching in the low back and more at the mid back. And release. These last couples, you may want your towel nearby just in case. We end with my favorites, the ones that stretch to the midsection and they're just beautifully relaxing. Come down onto your back. Arms extended out to the sides, knees bent. Let the knees fall to one side and just relax there. Again, this is a complete passive stretch. Gravity's the only thing doing the work. Now you can face the screen, or if you want a little bit more stretch through the neck, just look the opposite direction. So you're looking away from where your knees are pointing. Try to relax your body as much as you can. You should be feeling this through the waist. You may feel some also through the hip. Chest should feel nice and open. Draw the knees back up, and then let them fall over to the other side. Again, it doesn't really matter if your knees don't touch the floor. It is more important that you keep your shoulder blades in contact with the floor. If it feels uncomfortable, just let the knees come up a little bit. And bring them back up. So bring the feet back together, knees are up. Now your arms, you can keep them outstretched or you can fold them across your belly, whatever happens to be most comfortable. Keep the head down, but you're going to let your knees fall open, bringing the soles of your feet together, stretching at the hip and the inner thigh. Your feet, you can adjust farther away or closer, depending on what you need for the comfort of your hips and your knees. But again, passive stretch. Just let gravity do the work. Inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. Draw the knees back up. Roll to your side. Healthy back way of getting up. You're going to push yourself up and then come back to a sit. If it's comfortable, cross your legs. If not, you can straighten them in front of you or come up onto your knees. Quick stretch for the upper traps and the neck. Just rest your hands in your lap. Drop the shoulders away. You're going to look to the side and then down at that shoulder, like you have a bug sitting there. Bring it back up into center, other side. stiffness, back of the neck. Incidentally, this is a really good stretch to do if you sit in front of a computer a lot and tend to be hunched over. The upper traps get tight very quickly, very easily. Bring it back into center. Take a big inhale. Stretch to the ceiling. And release. And thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Carrie, and this has been Feel Good Stretch on this Friday. Looking forward to seeing you guys all back in the club. Thank you so much.